NCN Sports is presented by Medica. With a Medica health plan, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Find out more at libertyfirstcu.com. Teammates Mentoring. Join the team, be a mentor. Go to teammates.org today. And by Midway Auto. For your next vehicle, go to thinkmidway.com.
And welcome to Columbus High School for a Friday night presentation of high school soccer on News Channel Nebraska. A pair of 1 and 2 squads looking to build some momentum in an early season setting. Elijah Mosher alongside Leland Tilley with you tonight. Columbus, they're coming off of their first win of the season on Tuesday night against Lincoln North Star, trying to keep that momentum going. And Lincoln Northeast off of a top 10 battle with Lincoln Southeast on Wednesday night. Leland, what do we got to expect tonight?
You know, I'm expecting a hard-fought battle here. Columbus obviously coming off a win, looking to build something there. New coach looking to really get his feet under him with this one. I think a win here would be great for them. But Lincoln Northeast, you can't count them out so early. They are going to put up a fight. 4-4-3 situation for them means that they are not going to let anything by them. Back to you, sir.
And so you mentioned it, Johnny Beltran in his first year at the helm for Columbus, fifth-year head coach Phil Piat for Lincoln Northeast. That's all and so much more coming up here tonight on NCN. We'll step aside, be back in a moment.
Hey, it's me, one of those students on the waiting list for a Teammates mentor. I've heard Teammates is so fun and awesome. You get to talk, laugh, play games, and hang out with a positive, caring adult once a week at school. Teammates helps students believe in themselves, and 97% of mentees are proud to be a part of it. I love to be one of those mentees, but we need more mentors. So if you got an hour a week to be someone a student like me can count on, go to teammates.org today. Join the team. Be a mentor.
Welcome back to Columbus. Elijah Mosher, Leland Tilley with you as we're getting set up for tonight's matchup with Columbus and Lincoln Northeast. Let's take a look at our key players. First up for Lincoln Northeast, a senior defender, Abdullah Al-Fahad. What do we know about him?
He's an absolute amazing player. He's got the momentum, he's got carry, he's the senior, he's got leadership. We've talked a little bit about the leadership, we talked with the coaches about the leadership, and I think him being able to bring that so far this season has really led to their one and only true win this season.
On the other side for Columbus, you got Thomas Adabo, a junior in the midfield, but he can score some goals as well.
Yeah, he scored 2 last game, and we're looking to see more out of him this game. He's really led the scoring so far, so let's see if he can keep it going in this next one.
Those are our key players. It's Columbus, it's Lincoln Northeast on a Friday night boys soccer matchup. You're watching News Channel Nebraska. Be back in a moment.
The pregame show is sponsored by Custom Sports. Look great for every game with custom team or business apparel from Custom Sports.
Other companies have the revolving door. Every time we come into Schaefer's, it's always the same people. And the big thing to me is they know you by name. They know who you are, which makes a person like myself feel just warm and welcome here. And that's what's great about Schaefer's.
Schaefer's has the essential Whirlpool appliances you need, from refrigerators and air fry ranges to laundry pairs to keep your clothes clean and sanitized at everyday low prices. At Schaefer's, we are more than just TVs and appliances.
Hey, it's me, one of those students on the waiting list for a Teammates mentor. I've heard Teammates is so fun and awesome. You get to talk, laugh, play games, and hang out with a positive, caring adult once a week at school. Teammates helps students believe in themselves, and 97% of mentees are proud to be a part of it. I love to be one of those mentees, but we need more mentors. So if you got an hour a week to be someone a student like me can count on, go to teammates.org today. Join the team. Be a mentor.
From the heart of Nebraska to across the state, RMV Construction is building more than just structures. We're building trust. RMV Construction has grown from humble beginnings to become a trusted name across central Nebraska and beyond. With unmatched craftsmanship, cutting-edge innovation, and an unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction, we deliver projects on time, on budget, and above expectations. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction in Kearney and Lincoln. Let's build your vision together.
I spend with purpose because I bank with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union. With my Liberty Plus checking account, I can earn extra cash just for spending on everyday things, like groceries, online or in-store purchases, and lunch. At Liberty First, anyone can join, so start earning money to spend on the things you love. Start banking with purpose. Start banking with Liberty First Credit Union.
So this yellow jacket, it basically symbolizes that it's showtime.
The yellow jackets are a throwback to Monday Night Football.
Anything for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more. From little feet to little paws, to updates and overhauls. From soft and cozy to durable and resilient. From something that blends in or something that's different. From DIY to custom install, O Street Carpet can help you with it all. Whatever your needs are for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more.
Welcome back to Columbus High School as Columbus Lincoln North about 5 minutes away from kickoff as I believe we're ready for our school spotlights and take a look at that Columbus and Lincoln Northeast. First off, Lincoln Northeast, the Rockets, a part of the Heartland Athletic Conference, an enrollment of 1,332 students out of District Number 1. And the Rockets made the hour-and-a-half trip to Columbus, home of the Discoverers, also part of the Heartland Athletic Conference with an enrollment of 988, and in NSAA District Number 2. Two teams pretty familiar with each other, Leland. They faced each other each of the last 3 years, and last 2 years it's been 2-1 wins. One for Columbus 2 years ago, one for Lincoln Northeast last year. These two teams know how to put on a show.
Yeah, but both of these teams over the last couple of years have not been batting above 500. Columbus had a good record in 2024, but last year 5-10, a bit of a fall off the cliff there. Let's see if they can bounce back this season and obviously carrying off the momentum of the prior win. Whereas on the opposite side, the Lincoln Northeast side has not been doing so hot. 6-9 season for them, and then a 2-13 season way back in 2024. Feels like forever ago, but you know, when it comes to dirty laundry, sometimes you got to air it out.
And both these teams building something. Let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Medica. First off for Lincoln Northeast, in goal for the Rockets tonight is Christian Peña-Solis. And the back line up for Lincoln Northeast consists of Leo Wilson, August Holstein, Abdullah Al-Fahad, Grant Mason, and Yusuf Danya, a midfield of Diamond Gay, and Alexis Munoz Avila, and Mohammed with forwards, Anthony Castillo, and Zain Al-Ibadin Al-Jabari. And they're coached by Philip Yap. On the other side for Columbus, they're led by Johnny Beltran. They got the sophomore Gavin Anderson in net for them tonight. And then on that back line, Leandro Mendoza Diaz, Christian Bermudez Cruz, Christian Correa Bedoya, and Juan Telu Lopez. Also a part of their starting lineup, Mario Caballero, Andrel Velasquez, Thomas Adabo, Brian Calderon Medina, Leonardo Rodriguez Gutierrez, and Anthony Sanmancini Aguilar. So those are your starting lineups about 3 minutes away from kickoff. And like you're talking about before we got into those starting lineups there, Leland, both these teams building something. For Columbus, they had an off year after making the state tournament the previous 2 years. And now under first year with Johnny Beltran, they're really back to going to the root and trying to build up this program for the future.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They're obviously a very soccer-heavy school. I remember playing them back in the day when I used to play here, and I know you are a man of Columbus yourself, so you definitely know what the culture is like here. Whereas the other side, there's really a lot of question marks. Batting under 500 the last 5 years, I don't know how this one's going to go. At least culture-wise, it looks like Columbus is the favorite there.
And you say that, and Columbus doesn't have the same senior leadership group that they've had in years past. And that's something that Lincoln Northeast has. They have a strong senior group that gives them that experience. And that's something that Phil Piap has been growing in his now 5th year at Lincoln Northeast, building a team of culture. And there's a reason why they stick with a 4-3-3 formation from reserve to JV to varsity. Consistency, and it just helps grow a program overall and a team that's never made it to the state tournament before.
Yeah, it's very easy to play that total football mindset in 4-3-3 where everyone's kind of not necessarily so stuck in your roles, but fluid. Everyone knows what they need to do and knows where they need to go. That's how that 4-4-3 is played. But there's 4-4-3s on both sides of the ball here.
Let's highlight a little bit of this goalkeeper matchup a little bit more as we still got another minute. Lincoln Northeast are starting Christian Pena-Solas. He's a senior. He's been in goal before. He has the understanding of what he's doing in there. And we'll get to the other side in a moment, but just a little bit on Christian Pena-Solas.
Solas, 16 total saves on the season so far, at least that I could find. But 16 from your keeper, you don't want that number that high, especially this early in the season. You are supposed to be relying on your defense. I know I see it a lot in the pros. If the ball even gets to the keeper's yelling at someone. Someone did something wrong. But if that guy back there is able to make so many saves and make the plays, that could be the difference maker. That could be the reason they have the win under their belt that they do, and that could be the reason that they get another one here tonight.
On the other side, in the pipes for Columbus, Gavin Anderson, the sophomore, taking over from 3-year starter Connor Colwhite, who is one of the top goalies in Class A in the last couple of years, and now you get a little bit of an inexperienced goalkeeper in there for Columbus.
Yeah, we were talking about the inexperience kind of all over the board for Columbus. A lot of young guys here, and this is just another one to add to the pile, to be fair. Not a whole lot on him so far over the last couple of years, but, 4-4-3 or 4-3-3 will allow the defense to really help out the keeper where it needs to, and I think that was such an influential decision there for the new coach.
Couple of run-throughs of their schedules up to this point. Columbus started off the season last Thursday hosting Lexington, fell in that one 2-0, and then they dropped a game on Saturday to Omaha Central 3-0, and then, as we mentioned, got their first win of the season on Tuesday at Lincoln North Star 2-1. For Lincoln Northeast, they started their season off strong with a win against Fremont 3-1 before dropping back-to-back games, one against Papillion La Vista 1-0, and then on Wednesday to Lincoln Southeast 3-2. With that, Columbus is going to kick things off and get things underway. 2 40-minute halves, and we are under the lights. The sun is setting in Columbus, and Kevin Alicieres is ready to kick things off for Columbus, waiting for the final good to go from the referee. And it looks like we are about ready to get underway. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in with us tonight.
It's going to be number 17 on the ball to start off. Let's see if they start off with some early midfield pressure. What are you thinking really to go into this one to start it off?
Well, the wind's going to die down here. I don't see any of the corner flags moving at all. So even game, field level, and we are underway. And a big boot down to the forward level. Going to go out of bounds on the near side. The pass was intended for San Juancini Aguilar. And now Lincoln Northeast takes over possession.
Will immediately fold it back over, though, it appears, as Columbus now with the ball. Going to use that 5 yards of free space that the referee gives them when tossing the ball back in bounds. Will keep his toes down, gives it back forward, but back and forth we go.
Both these teams in 4-3-3 formations. So I like to see an even game that way. I was talking with Coach Beltran earlier this week about the 4-3-3. It's just about trying to push numbers while also trying to hold back and defend, trying to do a little bit of best of both worlds, if you will, a minute in. Ball trickles past midfield into the back line for Columbus, and it's kicked out of bounds by Bermudez Cruz. Quick throw in for Lincoln Northeast.
It'll go right back to him as, unless I'm mistaken, no. We're going to keep it down on the far sideline. Penalty immediately raised, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a foul on Lincoln Northeast. Push to the back. The assistant referee on the far side of the field immediately catching on to that one and allowing a free kick for Columbus just in front of the corner flag.
Columbus wearing red today will have possession. These are always such dangerous kicks when you're so deep in your own territory, going for a long bung like this, and that's exactly why. It's easy to turn over possession so early like that, but Columbus actually fighting for this one. Will turn it over eventually, and that'll result in the keeper eventually getting a hold of the ball.
Yeah, Gavin Anderson, the sophomore, scoops that one up in his gold goalkeeper unit, and ball brought down to the near side with Mario Caballero. Moves it past midfield, taken away by Lincoln Northeast, and good battle here early on as both these teams passing the ball off to one another.
Yeah, the transition seems like it's going to be a major factor in this game as we keep going back and forth from defense to offense. I actually really like that pass back to the keeper. Not enough teams utilizing their goalie. Inside the box, he's not allowed to touch the ball with his hands, obviously, but still able to get it across the field or rotate it out, and he actually kicks it back to the same side.
Throw-in coming for Columbus on the far side of the field. Juan Tulu Lopez, 40 yards outside of the goal, and Columbus turns the ball back over to Lincoln Northeast. And you're going to see an aggressive game in the midfield. Looks like we got a 4-on-3 opportunity. Ball stretched out. And it'll be offside. Zayn Al-Abidin Al-Jabari was stretching far on the near side and was caught offsides.
Right, and that offsides call can be anything from simply a finger offsides to a full body length. But, yeah, that one was a pretty easy call. Even from 50 yards off the sideline, we could see that one.
Free kick for Columbus, and sticking with their routine here, they're powering that ball downfield, trying to find a gap in the Lincoln Northeast defense.
Not really allowing any gaps, though, as Lincoln Northeast actually not having to use their keeper too much. I know I was a little worried about the inexperience of the keeper, but utilizing their keeper well. And both players of Lincoln Northeast acknowledging that they were offsides there and just allowing the ball to go back to the keeper.
It actually looked like the assistant referee was saying all clear there, but Lincoln Northeast didn't give chase to that through ball upfield. Now, near side.
Way to play the ball. Incredible tracking just off the ground there. We'll keep the ball alive as we keep it up the sideline. Won't go the other way, though.
Lost out of bounds off of Yusuf Donia. Correa Bedoya with it at midfield. Trying to turn around, build a presence here for the Columbus midfield. Columbus passed up.
Columbus will find a through ball, but nothing for it quite yet. We're going to rotate to the opposite side of the field, and I think that's something that they're not doing enough. They're not rotating the ball around the field. They're staying very linear with how they're passing.
Shot coming up over top of the net. Shot taken by Andrel Velasquez. That one sailed through the uprights. Unfortunately, those don't do much good here in soccer.
Yeah, no 3 points in American football, or no 3 points in this version of football, I suppose. American football, you'd have 3 on the board, and that would give one team the definite advantage, I think, if you started off with 3 points compared to 0.
There's another look at it on the Beatrice Community Hospital instant replay. Back underway. We are 5.5 minutes into the first half. Still no score between Columbus and Lincoln Northeast on this Friday night. Columbus trying to make something happen. The ball passed up to Velasquez. Nearly poked away, but Velasquez still trying to hang on. And here comes Lincoln Northeast. Grant Mason making something happen. And the ball gets lost out of bounds. It'll be a Columbus throw-in.
They decide to go fast with these. No ceremonial throw-ins yet. A couple ceremonial actual kicks in, but
nothing so far really like letting the play develop. They're not slowing it down. Like I was saying earlier, they're not rotating it enough. They're just, it seems like everyone's go, go, go. And I think as the players wear out and the inexperience starts to show for Columbus, having that younger roster, it'll be interesting to see what Lincoln Northeast decides to do.
Columbus has played it back to their back line a few times here tonight, and there's Peñasolis to scoop the ball up for Lincoln Northeast, the senior goalkeeper. And it looks like he's going to like to roll this one out. Good look. There's the pass across the field looking for Mason. And this one's going to be taken away. Battle for the ball. Mason comes up with it, dribbling along the near side. And then there's San Joaquini Aguilar, the cross inside the box, headed away by Al Fahad. Opportunity there for Columbus, taken back by Lincoln Northeast key player.
Lincoln Northeast is going to keep control, but they are buried so deep in their own side. And just like that, they will switch up the ball. This field made so small by such large kicks like that.
Beautiful through ball up the middle. Pass the right, saved by Gavin Anderson. Anthony Castillo with the shot on net, and then another shot by Alexis Munoz. Avila gets blocked by Columbus. Here come the Rockets.
Yeah, back and forth they go. And with a boot like that, it's easy to make this field seem so small. And with the cold, I'm interested to see about how these players who are, well, for a lack of a better term, built to be endurant.
Here's the shot again on the Mead Lumber instant replay. The sophomore Gavin Anderson getting down to save that one away. As now we got a corner kick for Lincoln Northeast. This one sky high up in the air. Gavin Anderson there to bring it on down, roll it back out, and Columbus likes to play it fast.
And they will do so, but Lincoln Northeast ready for it this time. They'll have at least two guys to meet him there, and the ball will eventually just get shoved out of bounds.
Columbus retaining possession of the soccer ball, there. Still in peak winter season mode. Free kick here for the Discoverers off the Northeast foul. Ball headed into the box and headed back out by Al Fahad. Columbus, another cross in. That one deflected out of bounds by Lincoln Northeast. And the first Columbus corner kick coming up here in the 10th minute.
Yeah, these corner kicks are so dangerous, especially from experienced teams. But as we were talking about earlier, Columbus just doesn't have that quite yet. They're going to try and get it over the top, but nobody's really in close. Oh, I like this, a pre-developed play.
Andrel Velasquez, low drive. That one's taken outside the box, cleared by the Rockets. And Lincoln Northeast off to the races once more. Here we go, Lincoln Northeast. Ball taken away by Christian Bermudez Cruz as Alexis Munoz Avila is trying to make something happen for Lincoln Northeast.
Yeah, you heard a little bit of unhappy campers here in the crowd, but that first one was pretty clean as far as I'm concerned. The second one, though, not so much. You got to at least play the ball a little bit there.
So we got a free kick coming up at midfield. Another look at it. San Joaquini Aguilar on the near side of the field. Brought down by Yusuf Dunya. Big boot down towards the box, headed inside. Will there be a shot on sky just over the net? It'll be a goal kick for Lincoln Northeast. Another dangerous opportunity for Columbus.
Yeah, the experience really showing on the defensive side there for Christian Solis as he's getting down and forcing the ball to go up. You can see it in the replay there a little bit. He slides for that one to try and get the ball to either go up or out. Excellent goaltending there.
Now is Thomas Adabo on the shot for Columbus. Out 10 minutes in, 25% through the first half. No score, but a few dangerous opportunities each way, and Columbus pokes another ball away. A rocket just off to the side of the net, fired by Holman Pineda Mesa.
Yeah, Columbus so far just dominating in the shots department, but you could kind of tell that from their first couple of games. Lots of shots, lots of goals, very high scorer ones compared to the next one's coming.
Going back to the corner, it appears. It's Columbus corner, yes?
Yes, Sandrell Velasquez to take it on the near side. Second corner kick for Columbus first here on the near side. This one's guide high to the far side of the box. And it's going to be handball, and Lincoln Northeast takes over possession. Northeast firing quickly off the free kick, and Columbus just retaining possession here in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, possession is a statistic that's not talked enough about, at least in my opinion, as you can't score if you don't have the ball. I know that's kind of a revolutionary statement, but, you know, in the first half, the first 12 or so minutes of play that's been happening so far, there isn't exactly a lot of Northeast control here as we see the first little bit of that.
Northeast working with the ball on the far side of the field. And really, good time to mention, it only takes 7 seconds to score a goal. Doesn't take that much time, but definitely having control of the ball eases the minds of both coaches.
Yeah, and I think both coaches are pretty antsy about this one, if I do say so myself. One of them being a fifth-year coach, which in terms of coaching isn't a ton of experience. The other one being a first-year coach, which definitely is not a lot of experience. And if you're that first-year coach, you've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders right now.
Across the field, and big defensive play by Juan Tulu Lopez, getting the stop on Munoz Avila.
Yeah, a great stop from him, just getting in the way there, playing the ball very well. And I'd be a little careful if I was Northeast there, because you can get carded, actually, for standing in the goalkeeper's way or standing too close to the keeper when he's trying to punt the ball away. Injuries and things happen.
Keeping things going at midfield just past the 8 o'clock hour. Far side kick downfield. Just trying to track it down with Sanwachini Aguilar here on the near side. Cross into the box. The header just to the left of the post. Dangerous opportunity there for Columbus on their fourth shot of the game.
A great job from the defense and the offense there for looking at the open guy, but on the defensive side, you're standing on the inside towards the goalpost. You want your butt towards the goal, and that's exactly what he was doing, forcing that guy outer as far as he could to force the ball away. But Columbus going to keep up the momentum.
Don't be surprised when I say this. That was Thomas Adabo on the shot again.
Yeah, him having two, well, I know you told me not to mention it when you were standing up down there, but I'll mention it now. The only 2 goals on the season so far for Columbus. And, of course, he will be the one taking a lot of the shots here. The momentum carrying forward for him, and clearly a little bit of confidence.
14 minutes in. Columbus starting to look like the team with control of the game, but don't forget about Lincoln Northeast's potential to switch it back and counter on the discoveries. They've done that well tonight. And here comes another opportunity for Lincoln Northeast inside the box. The shot coming. That one to the right of the net, taken by Alexis Munoz Avila.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. The transition offense has been for the most part, dominated by Lincoln Northeast. I take that back as Columbus looks like they're about to prove me wrong, keeping the ball on the far side of the field, moving it up a little bit, but unable to make anything work as Lincoln Northeast surrendered the ball and back to themselves now.
Shout out to our terrific crew here in Columbus, getting those camera shots. First half brought to you in part by John Henry's, our family serving yours. And glad to have them as a part of our coverage tonight. Couldn't do without them and all of our other fantastic sponsors, but that's John Henry's. Lincoln Northeast, Graham Mason is out of bounds, throw and coming for Columbus. They get it in quickly inside the box. Andrel Velasquez picks that ball up, chased down, and it'll be secured by Peña Solis.
Yeah, that experienced keeper definitely showing his worth there, pushing forward, leaving the goal a little bit open there, but just knowing that he can get to that ball. that shows experience, that shows confidence. That's what you need if you want to win a game like this. Still 0-0, 17 minutes in.
Nice controlled game, as you're used to seeing between these two clubs.
As controlled as it may be, it's not quite warm as I'd like it to be.
Well, we had 94 degrees on Saturday. We had to tone things down here the following week, as I believe we're into the low 40s. Let me double check here. At 43, we're going to dip into the 30s by the back end of the second half. Definitely doesn't help that the sun's setting down, but in Nebraska, you never know what you're going to get weather-wise, especially at the beginning of the spring season. Oftentimes there's snow and a lot of postponements. And this year it's just been hot, cold, windy. Who knows? But you haven't had precipitation quite yet, and so I think a lot of teams in ADs are thankful for that. Another pass inside to the box. Allen escapes from Columbus as they try to regroup on the near side.
Ball will stay in bounds, though, in play at least, but Lincoln Northeast looking to take it back, and that's what they've been doing. Is the transition offense has been kind of the only offense working for them so far. Columbus heading back into this game, at least from the out-of-bounds side of things, not quite this time, but.
Another physical battle. This one going to be a foul on Mario Caballero.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're extending your arms there. A ref is going to call that every single time. It's okay to push with your body a little bit. This isn't basketball. You can be a little bit more physical, but as soon as you extend those elbows, the ref's going to call you on that every time. A beautiful give and go there, excuse me.
Lincoln Northeast trying to get some control offense in for one of the first times tonight. Ball sky high and head into the box. Gavin Anderson will scoop it right on up, and danger averted for the Discoverers.
Yeah, that's going to be the sophomore of Gavin Anderson, cleaning that one up beautifully off the head of the Northeast offenses. We're going right back into the offense here for Lincoln Northeast.
Anderson scoops it up once more, and one of these things that both these teams will gladly take. There is not any wind at field level right now. Definitely can feel the wind up top here on top of the bleachers, but definitely not down low. Another shot coming. This one just off to the side of the net. And it'll be a goal kick for Gavin Anderson. Another dangerous shot for Lincoln Northeast.
Yeah, Gavin Anderson looking not quite ready for that one. So maybe is all the talk that I've talked about him being the lack of experience here finally starting to show through about 20 minutes into this one.
Allen was just ripped from 30 yards out. Not sure if he was expecting a low grounder like that one either. Not that a lot of goalkeepers would be. Keeping you on your toes. Velasquez has it kicked away by the Rockets. Almost halfway through this first half of play. Still 0-0 up on the scoreboard.
A lot of game left to play here, and it looks like it is now Northeast time to take a goal kick, and they will do so. Sends it almost to the out-of-bounds close side to us.
And definitely one of the tougher things about soccer, especially when you're on turf, is that ball is going to roll, it's going to skip, it's going to take a couple of hops on you. That's perhaps what happened on that shot attempt from Lincoln Northeast.
Ref going to call a high leg there. So what the ref deemed is that you put your leg up too high, you cause danger to another player or yourself. Ref's going to call that any day of the week. That any good ref will call that, I should say. As a lot of the fans around the Syracuse, Nebraska City area will not be happy that I make that call. But here at the D1, D2 level, it looks a little better, you know. This A1, what division is this? Excuse me, sorry.
Good old Class A soccer on a Friday night. On the boys' side of things, Lincoln Northeast, Columbus, pair of 1 and 2 teams looking to build some momentum. Season just started a week and a day ago, and both these teams have had some early tests, and they're in a good battle with one another so far here tonight. Lincoln Northeast, they got off the season on a strong note with a win, and then their past couple of games, they managed to hold Papillion La Vista to 1 goal. Papillion La Vista had beaten Millard North earlier in the season 7-1, and so that was a really close, defensive matchup, tightly contested. And then coming up against Lincoln Southeast on Wednesday at Seacrest Field, that was a game where Lincoln Southeast had a 2-0 lead. Lincoln Southeast, of course, number 7 in the state right now. But then Lincoln Northeast managed to equalize it before the Knights stunned the Rockets in the final minutes. But that's kind of been Lincoln Northeast's season so far. They're keeping it games close, and they're having these battles of just attrition by the end of the second half.
Yeah, and we heard it a little bit from the coach himself, but they've been coming out the second half slow. He wants to change that. Let's see if he made the right adjustments over the last couple of days. It's been about 3 or 4 days since that game was played. That's a lot of practice time and a lot of film to go over that could really change the influence of the second half here. But we are so far away from the second half still. We got 18 minutes left to play before we even get there.
Free kick coming here for Lincoln Northeast, 50 yards out. Going to be taken by Grant Mason. Gets into the box on the far side. Skip out. Kept in play by Lincoln Northeast. Almost will reset. And looks like we had an offsides call. And so, good time to remind you that this first half also brought to you by Steve Carper and the crew at O Street Carpet. I thank all of our friends over there as they help keep our broadcast moving along. That was the second offsides against Lincoln Northeast here in the first half. And we talked a little bit about Lincoln Northeast, Leland. Well, let's talk about Columbus a little bit. Their 1-2 looks quite different. They started their season against Lexington, a Class B perennial power out in central Nebraska. Dropped that game 2-0. And they tried to control. They controlled a good bit of possession. They held their own very well. And then they took on Omaha Central, a team that a lot of people think could be a top 10 team in Class A as well. And just couldn't find their own groove in that game before playing Lincoln North Star on Tuesday night. Grinded out a 2-1 win. They missed the penalty kick. It could have been 3-1. And so you just look at it. Columbus has had a very different season, but both teams, they face their fair share of tough opponents.
I'll agree with that one. I think that being a new coach will really attest to those first 2 losses. Still trying to find your footing, get your feet underneath you, and really look up. So I'm really interested to see how they keep the momentum going, because clearly they wouldn't let that momentum get them down. Finding a win in the 3rd game of the season. We're only 4 games in. We're still really early here. There's a lot of soccer left to play throughout the year, and a lot of soccer left to play in this game as we take our first time pause of the game so far, I believe. The injury timeout that appears to have been resolved as we've been talking.
Yes, and so Lincoln Northeast still hanging on to possession. And so sitting at 1-2, both these teams coming off of seasons what they're looking to build off of from last spring. That's going to be kicked out of bounds by Columbus's Alan Jimenez Caballero. So Lincoln Northeast throw incoming. But just building momentum, Columbus in a way of trying to put 2 in a row together. Lincoln Northeast trying to bounce back tonight.
And a very aggressive style of defense as we see the cards. 2 of the yellow cards so far in the season for Columbus have been on the defensive side. And a beautiful defensive play there, acknowledging that you're down numbers. That's where the 4-3-3 kind of falls short if you're playing against it, is 3 men all the way back prepared for defense at all times. Means that if you have a perfect 4-3-3 matchup, you're always going to have the numbers disadvantage on the defensive side. But playing it very well almost results in a bit of a mishap there for Columbus, but we're going to turn it around a little bit.
Leo Wilson, a junior, at that time skying above the net, the 4th shot from Lincoln Northeast in the first half. Matching Columbus, both teams with 4 shots. Lincoln Northeast, the only team with a shot on goal so far. 25 minutes in, we enter the 26th minute now. Still 0-0, but a tough battle now. Over those last 5 minutes, we've seen Lincoln Northeast control more of the possession here, Leland.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier in the game. Northeast needed to really gather themselves and slow it down. Columbus as well needs to slow down. I think both of these teams need to do that, but Northeast has actually done it so far. The last 5 minutes, they've really taken a breath, admitted that that's what they need to do, and let the more experienced coaching staff and players make the decisions that they needed to make. And so far it's working out for them on the offensive side, but just nothing falling yet.
battle for the ball, move forward, and it looks like Lincoln Northeast will have a successful box out. And no, it's going to be deflected by Lincoln Northeast. It'll be the third corner kick of the half for Columbus, and Thomas and Andrew Velasquez will head over to take it.
Yeah, I was talking about slowing down for Lincoln Northeast and how I think that Columbus needs to do as well. But Columbus seems to say, hey, put your money where your mouth is. We're playing incredible fastball here.
This one comes in deep across the box. Adobo can't get a foot on it, and it's cleared back by Lincoln Northeast.
Northeast going to carry the possession out to the outside. So that's something that experience that they have is tenfold better than the side of Columbus. Columbus, if you look on the camera right now, you might not see it, but there's 6 guys standing within probably 30 yards of each other, whereas Northeast has a very spread out roster other than the defensive side, which is where you want it to be congested.
Ball kicked back to Al-Fahad and moved up through the Lincoln Northeast side. Far side of the field. Now Lincoln Northeast trying to get into the offensive third. And Columbus staying stingy on the defensive side. Takes that ball away. Now trying to clear it out as in a little bit of danger here. Lincoln Northeast trying to get an opportunity here. Can't get a shot away. And it's cleared away by Columbus. Danger averted by the Discoverers Rockets. Had a nasty opportunity that they couldn't take advantage of.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication will result in the loss of possession, but they're not going to let it go so easy as they try and keep up the aggressive play style here. And I think as long as Lincoln Northeast keeps up this attack and keeps up their ruthless pressure that they have so far this first half, it'll be an incredible game to watch.
Cross inside, saved by Gavin Anderson. Once again, Leah Wilson and on the attack, making the second shot on goal for Lincoln Northeast in the game.
Yeah.
Ball moved forward, chased down for it. Sanwancini Aguilar will get there, knocked down. It'll be a free kick coming for Columbus, but before we get there, we got our halftime highlights in about 12 minutes coming up, and those brought to you by Starter Heyman. Stay tuned for our halftime highlights brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Bit of good sportsmanship there as a player from Lincoln Northeast admits they're wrong and helps up the player from Columbus there as we prepare for the penalty in a dangerous position. And of course, penalties with aggressive intent, as the rulebook calls it, are live, meaning this one can go straight into the net if the player behind the ball here decides to knock it in. I can't quite make out the number from this angle.
Still waiting on as the referee is. Looks like there's a substitution that referee wanted to get in, so they stopped the clock at 11:27. And now we get the free kick coming. Boot is strong on the back end. It goes off of Peñasuelas. And the race for the ball taken away by Lincoln Northeast. Cleared out, and Columbus trying to keep the pressure on the Rockets.
Yeah, that one straggler of Lincoln Northeast kind of staying up towards the midfield, whereas that he's now outnumbered. The last couple of offensive attacks that Northeast has had, they've been the ones outnumbering the defense. Columbus now acknowledging that that's what's happening. The youth is beating the old here, I would like to say, in the game of the running spirits, and almost proves me right there.
Big opportunity for Columbus. Goes to the right of the net. Big cross-field shot. That time from the Discoverers. And still just trying to get their first shot on net. Not by lack of effort, but just narrowly missing it a couple of different times now. And Thomas Adabo again. 5 shots for Columbus in the first half, and Lincoln Northeast on the counter. Ball moved up to Wilson, and a big sliding tackle by Alan Jimenez Caballero to get that ball out of harm's way as we approach the final 10 minutes of this first half.
That is a
junior making the stop there of a young Columbus team, the leadership. The very few players they have of the leadership, at least doing the things that they need to do to keep their boys in it, keep them excited. And I know the weather's wearing down on them a little bit because it's wearing down on me, and I'm not out there running around.
Corner kick for Lincoln Northeast, right on center. Gavin Anderson there. No sweat on that stop. 9.5 to play in the first half. Still tied up at 0 between Lincoln Northeast and Columbus on the Aurora Cooperative scoreboard.
Less than 10 minutes left to play here, and a bit of a whistle there from something. I couldn't quite make out what. Maybe you got a better view of it than I did.
Yeah, quick foul, and then Northeast trying to play that one fast. Columbus got in the way, slowed things down, allowed them to get set. But Columbus clears it out anyway. Off the hot, almost hit the spin cycle. But here comes Columbus the other direction. Ball moved up. Once again, Lincoln Northeast moves it back to midfield.
A couple misplayed through balls from Columbus will result in Lincoln Northeast having a bit of a offensive pressure here now. Columbus on the defensive side. Absolutely incredible, though.
Munoz Avila has his shot blocked by Christian Bermudez Cruz. And here comes a free kick. We're talking 27 yards out. Big opportunity for the Rockets as we near on under 8.5 to play in the first half. It looks like it'll be Zain Al-Abidin Al-Jabari to take this free kick. Indeed, he can put it 29 yards out. Shaded a little bit to the near side of the field. Actually changed that up. It's Alexis Munoz Avila. He's going to take this free kick for Lincoln Northeast. Taking their time. Columbus has their walls set up. And here comes the free kick for the Rockets. This one squeezes between the goalposts of the football and soccer. The soccer net and the field goal goalpost. And the shot just over the net. Columbus quickly moves it up with a goal kick.
Yeah, Alvia showing why he is the goal leader so far for Lincoln Northeast. Trying to keep up the offense by himself, but sometimes you just need a little teammate help there, and there's a bit of a help from your teammate there. Your goalie comes out from nowhere and makes the stop. And that's going to allow Lincoln Northeast to relinquish the pressure of Columbus, and we're swapping it back the other way.
Thomas Hidalgo slow to get up after being challenged by Christian Pena-Solis, the Lincoln Northeast goalkeeper. 7 minutes to play in the first half. Another time where Thomas Hidalgo tried to make things happen and almost slid one into the Lincoln Northeast goal. They stopped the clock, 6:48. And what's going to happen here? The referee is walking towards the far side of the field. It looks like Thomas Hidalgo is going to come off the field. That'll be a substitution for Columbus as Hidalgo down in some pain on the far side of the field.
Adobo, of course, being your score leader, scored both of the goals in the last game where they won. That's going to be a big player to take off the pitch this early.
Cross inside the box, headed back out by Lincoln Northeast. On for Columbus is Kevin Elisiarez. And ball out of bounds on the far side. Throw in coming for Columbus. As we get ever so closer to the halftime break. And we'll bring you the halftime show brought to you by RMV Construction. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction located in Kearney and Lincoln. See how strong and built these defenses are because they have both been proven to be trustworthy and clearing out the garbage tonight.
So far done very well of that, actually. I don't think there's any sloppy plays that have gone any way they shouldn't have. Both teams are punishing those sloppy plays very well. And just like that, you are one man channeling into four defensive players of Columbus. You should get the ball taken from you. Columbus fumbles it right back. That's another sloppy play, just like you were saying, punished almost immediately as now we head it back to Northeast side.
Ball in the middle of the field, cleared back towards midfield by Columbus. Good play there made by Juan Tolu Lopez.
Yeah, I'd love to see the side of Northeast at least push up a little bit, try and drag these players off sides, because you see they're hanging back so far. They're 30, 40, 50 yards off the ball, meaning that those players from Columbus can just stay back there. As long as your second to last defender is back there, including your goalie, which most keepers don't go out of that 18-yard box very far. It's all fair game inside of that. So,
couple of throw-ins back-to-back for Lincoln Northeast. We are 35 minutes down and exactly 5 to go here in the second half. Thrown for Lincoln Northeast, headed back by Columbus and lost out of bounds once more. And so it'll be the third straight Lincoln Northeast throw-in.
Unable to do much with the throw-in so far. It's getting pretty physical on the far side of the field. A couple of elbows come up. That could have been a call there, and a slide comes in late for both sides. Of course, both sides being very physical teams. We talked about that earlier. 3 yellow cards for one side and 1 for the other side. Lots of pushing, lots of shoving, lots of physical soccer to be played.
Lincoln Northeast with the soccer ball. Moves it near side. 4:10 to play in the first half. Near side. Rockets trying to move it forward. Splits the defense. And then stepping right on up, Christian Bermudez Cruz to attempt to clear the ball out. Lincoln Northeast still with possession. Ball not out of harm's way for the Discoverers quite yet. And there's a big clear once again by the Discoverers.
Ball boy's going to fumble with the ball a little bit, prevent Lincoln Northeast from playing it fast.
Now 3.5 to play. Both teams working towards the halftime break. And we have a handball going up against Columbus. And so another free kick for Lincoln Northeast.
That's going to be Grant Mason taking the ball here from a long distance out. Handball is an indirect kick, meaning that he cannot take it from inside there. Actually passed off, excuse me. Mason will fall back.
It'll be Zain Al-Ibadin Al-Jabari taking this free kick. This one spirals inside, headed, and it's going to be kept out of the net by the Columbus defense. Not sure who had the good clear there, but it looked like it was going to slide by Anderson until Columbus comes up strong.
Columbus will keep the offensive pressure going off of that. And this is where Columbus has been so strong in the attacking side of things. But Columbus, you're offsides. Northeast taking my words to heart a little bit there and actually pushing up, forcing that final forward player of Columbus to play back.
Holman Pineda Mesa with the big clearance for Columbus down on the other end.
Ball goes off the ref, will result in a live ball played immediately after. Bit of fun being had by both teams against the ref, but, you know, who doesn't enjoy making the ref the butt of the joke every so often, right?
The referees definitely try their best to avoid coming in contact with the ball, but just not always possible. Under 2 to play, the cross blocked back twice, and the ball will trickle out of bounds past the end line. It'll be a goal kick for Gavin Anderson. A couple of substitutions for Columbus coming in. See if one of them is Thomas Adabo. I believe he's going to make his way back onto the field on the far side of the pitch, right around midfield.
Time, for some reason, not stopping for those substitutions, but it did stop for earlier ones, so a little unclear on the rules here, but we're going to keep it going as we move right back into the action. Lincoln Northeast trying to keep up the pressure, but it looks like it's just back and forth across the center of the field.
Don't worry, Leland. We'll get you used to Nebraska high school soccer rules by the end of this one. Under a minute to go here in the first half. And another through ball coming for Lincoln Northeast. A pass to the top side. The Rockets keep it in. Trying to do so is Rex Wilson. And the Rockets try and play on one more opportunity. Inside the box, this shot is deflected back and cleared away by the Discoverers. And it looks like we're going to be headed to the halftime break, tied up at 0. But here comes another Rocket. Up a shot from Lincoln Northeast. As Lincoln Northeast, they've been strong on the back half of this first half. And looks like it's going to be a corner kick. Just 10 seconds left in the half. Referee's not going to stop the clock. And so I think this clock is going to expire before any kick can be taken. And with that, we are at the end of the first half in Columbus. Lincoln Northeast. Columbus tied up at 0 on the Aurora Cooperative scoreboard. Back for the R&V Construction halftime show next on NCN.
On the go and need a fast break? Speedy Mart is your playmaker. Swing in, grab a quick bite, a refreshing drink, and fuel up fast so you can get back in the game without missing a beat. With plenty of parking, speedy pumps, and shelves stocked with all your favorites, Speedy Mart on South 72nd Street, Papillion, keeps you moving. Whether it's food, fuel, or a friendly smile, make the winning move. Stop at Speedy Mart today.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Albion Thrifty Way. Be sure to shop local today at Albion Thrifty Way. And by the J Sports Bar and Grill. Nothing but good times at the J located in Albion.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. I love it. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
We have a wedding band to buy. So.
We do, yes. The wedding bands will be back for that.
Starter Heyman Jewelers, downtown 12th and O, South Point Pavilions, and Grand Island.
John Henry's is now offering electrical service. Our service professionals have been helping with plumbing, heating, and cooling in Lincoln and the surrounding areas for more than 25 years. Now, we're proud to offer the same level of professionalism in our new electrical service. From a whole home rewire to adding new outlets or electric car chargers, John Henry's can be your one-stop shop for all your home's needs. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical. Our family serving yours since 1996.
For over 40 years, Claybaugh Pharmacy has been your trusted, family-owned, full-service pharmacy. We provide traditional medical options, medical equipment, immunizations, and over-the-counter products. We take pride in going above and beyond to improve the health of our community. And to ensure you have a seamless experience, manage your profile and refills with a touch of the finger from home. Claybaugh Pharmacy in downtown Beatrice, your hometown family-owned pharmacy.
Big ideas, bold graphics, quality products you're proud to wear. That is Custom Sports. Custom Sports, custom graphics, quality products, and timely service you can count on.
At halftime here in Columbus, 0-all between the Discoverers and Lincoln Northeast. And it's time to take a look at our halftime highlights brought to you by Starter Heyman Jewelers. Stunning engagement collections, exceptional diamonds, and dazzling gemstones can be found at their Lincoln and Grand Island locations. For a scoreless first half, there was plenty of action here in Columbus. Good cross there from Columbus, cleared away by the Rockets as action keeps heating up. There's Velasquez who loses it in the midfield, and big opportunity that time for Lincoln Northeast, and Alexis Munoz Avila saved by Gavin Anderson. Anderson had to make a couple big saves here in the first half. There it is again as Lincoln Northeast really making things happen on the counterattacks. Another big opportunity for Lincoln Northeast, but a big deflection and block from Columbus. Cross inside, Thomas Adobo just to the left of net. He had 3 opportunities in the first half, trying to capitalize on each of them. Here comes another one and it's taken away by Christian Pena-Solis. Now a free kick for Columbus as the first half moves on. Opportunities across the board and moving along through things. Lincoln Northeast, ball deflected off the official, so indirect free kick coming. And here comes Lincoln Northeast on the back end of the first half. And as a corner kick, but just couldn't get that ball off the ground in time. And so it leads us to the halftime break where it is 0-0. Elijah Mosher, Leland Dilly, and halftime stats. Lincoln Northeast, 6 shots to Columbus's 5. Columbus still looking for their first shot on goal, but 2 of them for Lincoln Northeast. What'd you notice in the opening 40 minutes?
Lots of transition offense, really struggling from both sides to just stay calm, stay controlled, stay collected. But I think the weather has a little bit to do with that, as well as the youth of the Columbus team. You know, you get a little antsy in your youth. You're kind of passing the ball all around or making hero plays. I know that a lot of the Lincoln Northeast side is a lot more experienced, and I want to see how they use that experience in the second half of the game. When you are tired, when you are cold, when you are just ready to go home, I think Lincoln Northeast could come out hot here. Columbus, of course, being slow, kind of notoriously towards the second half, but I don't know. I'm interested to hear your thoughts coming from Columbus, the man himself.
That was a long time ago there, Leland, but definitely Columbus was my home for a good time, and good first half of action. Columbus controlled the opening half, I'd say, and then Lincoln Northeast kind of took over, but definitely you look at it either which way, and opportunities for both sides. It'll be interesting to see who capitalizes first.
Yeah, I agree. Still 0-0 score line here after the entire first half, which isn't exactly uncommon in the game of football, but not exactly the most common thing ever either. But a lot of that. Christian Pena-Solis, absolute defensive brick wall back there, making incredible stop after stop after stop, knowing when to come out of the goal, when to get low and force the ball high, when to stay out wide and stay back and just let his defense control. That's the experience I was talking about earlier, showing through. Incredible game so far from him.
You talk about brick walls. That was kind of the Columbus backline in the opening 40 minutes. We'll step aside and we'll continue the RMV Construction halftime show next on News Channel Nebraska.
At Nebraska Orthopedic Center, they provide comprehensive orthopedic health care. Their physicians are highly skilled in all areas of orthopedic and sports medicine, including spine surgery, foot and ankle, hand and upper extremities, fracture care, and total joint replacement. Their expertise includes the medical management of injuries through physical and rehabilitative methods or surgical intervention. To schedule an appointment or to learn more about Nebraska Orthopedic Center and their family of 25 physicians, go online to nebraskaortho.com. That's nebraskaortho.com. Nebraska Orthopedic Center is your healing destination.
When quality matters, it starts at Scotty's Ranchland Foods in Valentine. They're known for the highest quality beef, carefully aged to perfection, alongside fresh, vibrant produce, and a deli famous for fresh, never frozen fried chicken. It's quality you can see. Home of Scotty's Meat RX. Scotty's Ranchland Foods in Valentine, Nebraska. A better cut every time.
Welcome back to Columbus. This is the RMV Construction halftime show. Trusted, local, proven RMV Construction at 0-0 between to the second half. And if my pages will turn for me, I'll tell you a little bit more about RMV Construction, as based out of Lincoln and Kearney. And today we are featuring the Wick buildings. And if you have a construction project that needs built, RMV Construction is the company you need to call. RMV Construction has proudly constructed more than 50 WIC buildings across the state, including this one north of Amherst. WIC buildings are post-framed, pre-engineered metal building systems made with better materials for a better building. RMV Construction will help you expand your ag operation, create your next barn dominium, or develop commercial space by constructing a WIP building with unmatched durability, energy efficiency, and design flexibility. RMV Construction with offices in Kearney and Lincoln. Trusted, proven, local. That's RMV Construction. Lincoln Northeast will kick things off to begin the second half. And 40 more minutes to play. Elijah Mosher, Leland Dilly, and a scoreless game between the Discoverers and the Rockets. They switch sides. Another 40 minutes left to play. What has your eye, Leland?
So far, the experience of Northeast, the Rockets just fired up so far. They look like they were ready to go before halftime even was half over. They were out here. They were on the field. They were ready. They were dancing around. They were staying warm. You know, Columbus kind of moseyed out a little bit out of halftime, out of the circle. And, you know, it's showing right now.
Ball cleared out again up by the Discoverers inside the box. They've done that quite a few times tonight as that back line's held up sturdy. Alan Jimenez Caballero. Now he says the Lincoln Northeast with a chance to try to take some more control of the game with another corner kick. Their third of the game. Taking on the near side. This ball booted inside the box. Off the head, off a shoulder. Still inside the box and cleared out by Columbus. Nearly taken back by the Rockets.
That's something that Northeast has done very well so far, is allowing a single player to act like a wolf, as you'd call it in basketball, coming up from behind. Bit of a sneak attack kind of situation there from Northeast. And a swing and the miss will result in Columbus momentum.
Sun has completely set on a calm and a cool evening in Columbus. Throwing coming up for Lincoln Northeast. Still quite a bit of time left to play. And definitely anyone's game. Both teams had opportunities in the first half, just couldn't quite capitalize on top of them. And Columbus trying to make things happen in the offensive third.
Yeah, Lincoln Northeast last week allowing 2 goals in the second half and then scoring 2 of their own before allowing the third nail in the coffin last week. So from what I've seen in the stats, Lincoln Northeast really comes alive in this second half, whereas we heard it from the Columbus first-year coach, Johnny Beltran himself. He's a little slow, a little bit worried to see how that lack of leadership, how the lack of seniors will really shine through in the second half.
I'm also interested in the fact of how many times these players have played past 9 o'clock at night so far this season. Velasquez, a shot saved by Pena Solis. Big opportunity. That was the first shot on net this game for Columbus as Andrel Velasquez let one rip, and now we got a foul on the far side of the field, and it'll be a Lincoln Northeast free kick.
Yeah, Pena Solis, 5.3 saves per game on average for him. I think he's already hit that, if not excelled it so far this game, and we're barely into the second half. We've got a lot of game left to play here.
Another good look at that from our mid-lumber instant replay as a collision on the far side of the field, but back underway now, and there'll be a Columbus throw-in on the far side. Lights, just a recent addition to Columbus High School that has allowing them to play their games on this beautiful turf field that was installed back in 2017. Before the lights were installed, they'd maybe play a couple games out here a year, but for the most part, they're playing on a grass surface at Wilderness, just not even a mile over. You can even see it over the horizon when the sun is up here in Columbus. But definitely a beautiful facility and a nice place to play some soccer.
Yeah, and Lincoln Northeast using their heads here, not just about where to play some soccer late at night, but also when it comes to hitting the ball. 3 headers back to back to back right there will result in Columbus's momentum. You know, they're trying to play that ball fast, and Lincoln Northeast really just putting their foot down, or I guess their head down in the grass there, and stopping the momentum from shifting just like that.
And we talk about a pair of teams looking for some momentum here in Class A. Well, there's some really good teams in a really jumbled up Class A in Nebraska so far this season. 1 week in, Omaha South, Creighton Prep, Lincoln Southwest, and Papillion La Vista South have all looked really solid in the opening weeks, including a top 2 matchup last night where Creighton Prep got past Omaha South in a penalty kick shootout. That was a sight to see. But just so many teams that can contend here, and a lot of them come out of the Heartland Athletic Conference. We mentioned Lincoln Southwest, Lincoln Southeast. You can also throw in Kearney and Grand Island in there as well. And just really good teams in Class A, boys. And I talk with a lot of different people, and one person was just like, last night he just texted me, he's like, okay, every team in Class A, boys, are good this year.
It's resulted in a lot of good soccer. We were just talking about Lincoln Southeast played against Lincoln Northeast just a couple days ago, and that one did result in a victory for Lincoln Southeast. The Rockets falling short to a goal in the final bit there, but a little bit of pressure now for Columbus as we're talking about the Northeast Rockets falling short near the end of the last week.
And a player down for Columbus, and went out of a stoppage of play with 34:08 to play here in the second half. Can't tell who's down here for the Discoverers, but went down on the back line, and they're going to wave the athletic trainer onto the field. So we'll step aside, be back momentarily on News Channel Nebraska.
Darling, I believe everything's gonna be alright. No need to worry because you got somebody on your side. We all need a family, all need a crew. When you're in a jam, don't know what to do. Just reach out your hand and we'll see you through. Doesn't matter where you're at, we got your back. We got your back.
With a Medica health plan, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Anything for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more. From little feet to little paws, to updates and overhauls. From soft and cozy to durable and resilient. From something that blends in or something that's different. From DIY to custom install, O Street Carpet can help you with it all. Whatever your needs are for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Bank of the Valley. Together we go further. Visit one of their locations or check them out online at bankofthevalley.com. And by Western Oil. Make your first and last stop to and from the game at your nearest Speedy Mart or Good to Go convenience stores today.
Our communities are built through stories of connection, hard work, and bright futures. You're committed to this place, and so are we. By supporting your dreams and by celebrating your stories, Bank of the Valley has grown alongside you through 40 years of going further together. We're building lasting relationships and a legacy of success. We're in this together, and together we go further.
Drop ball, and we're back underway. Christian Bermudez Cruz was taken off in the athletic trainer cart. Hope he's all right as he gets checked out by the tremendous athletic training staff here at Columbus High. Brooke Hughes on the standby tonight for the Discoverers. And Lincoln Northeast wants to throw in here in the offensive third. No score here in the early portions of the second half. Still 33.5 minutes to play. And Lincoln Northeast trying to make some things happen. Both teams, they've had opportunities. Either team capitalizing, but there's been a few high danger opportunities for sure.
Yeah, I think that could have definitely turned into one of them, but Columbus keeping on the pressure here will force Lincoln Northeast to just relax a little bit, like I've been saying they need to do. Columbus is kind of forcing them to do such a thing, but substitutes will come in, break the momentum for both sides, I believe. The side ref had his flag up over his head. I mean, we're going to have some subs come in. Only 8 minutes in, not even 8 minutes into the second half of the game. We've already gotten two different sets of substitutions in. Back and forth across the midfield we go.
These are two teams that work really hard, very driven teams that are trying to practice each and every day at improving. And just having the opportunity to talk with both teams' head coaches earlier in the week. And I'm going to start off with Columbus here, because we talked about a little bit about culture earlier in the broadcast, and Columbus is a big soccer town. There's a lot of soccer in this town, and Johnny Beltran is actually involved with the Columbus Soccer Club as a coach and as a part of the board. But one of the things that they're trying to do is get the younger kids, the younger generation, to buy in and hopefully thrive in the sport of soccer here, especially in one where there's been a high standard set at Columbus High in recent years as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's saying earlier about how he needs to get the younger generation to buy in and really invest themselves into allowing themselves to build up and be one of these young guys who, the Columbus side is full of the young guys, and especially the coach, a brand new first-year coach. You've got a lot of youth and inexperience coming from that side, but it will be the inexperience that will allow them to take control in this one. And, you don't know how to deal with the experienced if you're inexperienced.
And Johnny Beltran, he's in his second year at Columbus High overall. He was the JV coach last year, one of the guidance counselors at the high school as well. But on the other side, for Lincoln Northeast, and we mentioned his fifth year for Philip Yap as the head coach. But the story there is they haven't had past success. They haven't made it to the state tournament before. They're hoping to get there one day. But they have come from a place in where when Yap started, the turnout wasn't there. They couldn't man even a JV team. They didn't have a JV or reserve team. And now they have, according to Coach Yap, 70 to 80 kids show up for tryouts. And they have really built and have a lot more players, a lot more students coming out to play soccer over at Lincoln Northeast since Philip Yap has gone there.
Yeah, and he said himself, it's just a bigger player or a bigger pool of players to choose from. So a lot more picky players. And it almost seems backwards, You were just talking about how Columbus is such a big school for soccer. Culture is so huge here. That culture is so massive. And yet you go over to somewhere like Lincoln Northeast where the culture just isn't as big. And you can see how the coaching staff, the inexperience of Beltran is really just showing through. He's only on his first year here, but he wants those numbers to go up. And, Coach Yap, 70 to 80 guys trying out. That's enough to fill 6 squads if you really wanted it. But I don't know if you'd have enough people in all of Class A to play against that many teams a week.
And soccer is just such a special thing in the state of Nebraska, too. When you get to the state tournament and qualify, you get to play at Morrison Stadium in Omaha, the home of the Crane Blue Jays, and Union Omaha as well. And it is a beautiful facility and complex over there. And the Columbus boys have been lucky enough to make it there 2 of the last 3 years. And you ask what makes soccer in Nebraska so special. It really is just the community aspect, and it is so cool to see these Lincoln Northeast players starting to come out more and more for it. And Columbus trying to get that younger generation to take that next step as well. I mean, just 20 miles east of Columbus, you got the Schuyler Warriors who won the Class B boys title last May. And so a lot of soccer here in this area.
Yeah, and you're talking about the cultures. I can see it when I look out into the stands. A lot of people would not want to sit through this cold for over 2 hours, and just it's after 9 p.m. So the fact that all the fans are out here and just ready speaks volumes to the cultures.
The other corner kick coming for Columbus. Andrel Velasquez ready to take it for the Discoverers. This one skies high. Inside the box, the shot cleared out by Lincoln Northeast.
Northeast has a 3-on-2 here if they decide to go fast. A move interrupted by Columbus. The defensive side of Columbus doing work so far. We were talking about the inexperience, but that's going to be a bit of lazy offense as far as I'm going to call it like I see it. Push off will result in Columbus momentum.
Juan Didelou Lopez had the great takeaway, and then Thomas Adobo goes down and gives Columbus a free kick 12 minutes into the second half, still just under 28 to play. Free kick inside the box, and it's going to be kept in play by Lincoln Northeast.
Ball crossing at midfield now, but it's Columbus, I think, with the momentum to give away, really. It's their game. They just need to find the timing. They just haven't been able to do that so far this series, and you know, with a couple moves like that, you might just do it.
Andrel Velasquez, my goodness, slicing and dicing up midfield, straight down the middle, and puts a shot on net. And it's booted back out for the Rockets, and Gavin Anderson will go down, let the ball get to him, and wow.
Yeah, the keeper's just going to trade off one there, it seems. Build the stats up. You know, you're late in the game, it's cold, everyone wants to go home. Make the stats look a little bit more appealing before you just sit down and call it a night, right? You got a, hour and a half bus ride home if you're Lincoln Northeast? That's going to be a long one.
And they are going to stop the clock with 26:38 left to play. And I believe we're going to see a card come out. And it is indeed a yellow card given to Yusuf Danya. The junior defender will have to come off the field. And here's another look at it, just a late tackle made there by Danya. So a free kick coming for the Discoverers.
Yeah, I'm all for physical soccer. I'm all for a little bit of pushing and shoving, but that's just uncalled for. It's a little too aggressive and just way too late. The play's not even developing. It's just, there was no reason for that one. No reason to get a card. There's some good instances where you need to get a card, maybe on a defensive stop. Usually the amount of cards you have, especially on defense, is a result of lazy defense. That one just felt unnecessary.
A couple of other substitutions taking place as well. And so now we get right in front of Lincoln Northeast bench, maybe 6 feet in, 42 yards out, a line drive, and Velasquez trying to get a touch on it. Now turns the corner, cuts back upfield, and gets taken down and earns a free kick 30 yards out. Andrel Velasquez making moves happen on the field tonight.
Yeah, we saw it earlier, absolutely slicing and dicing up the field, as you put it, right by three defenders earlier. Makes one defender of Northeast look absolutely silly there, and that will result in another free kick, this time about 20 yards closer. You're about 18 or so yards outside of the net. You are looking to put this one in the back of the net.
And taking this one will be Christian Correa Bedoya. Ball set up for Lincoln Northeast, making sure they're all good. And it looks like they may even trade out soccer balls as well. Don't see that one too often. But Columbus making things happen here, trying to get themselves another opportunity. And still 26:38 left to play. Clock hasn't restarted. It's been a long stoppage here in the second half. And it looks like we'll be ready to get back underway. The free kick just to the left of the net, fired off by Correa Bedoya.
That's going to be 2 penalty kicks in a row. I would argue wasted, more or less. The first one not going high enough, not enough distance on it, not enough strength behind it, or perhaps it was just the cold maybe affecting that one a little bit. You kick the ball hard enough, your foot's going to hurt after that, but that second one just barely to the left. That's 2 opportunities for Columbus just thrown away.
And a discussion here with the referee and a couple of the players as the clock is still at 26:38. The student scoreboard operators didn't catch the start the last time, and so they haven't adjusted the clock. So 26:25 is how much time they have on the second half. I would have expected them to maybe take off a few seconds, but they've elected not to do that. Northeast trying to move that ball forward, and a big chase down here, but it's cleared back out by Columbus. And I've talked with a lot of different high school soccer players here over the last couple of weeks, and one of the things that I like to ask them is, what is your least favorite element to play in? And I lead off with rain, snow, wind, and I think every answer so far has been cold. because whenever that ball hits you when it's cold, it hurts.
Oh, you feel it. You don't even want to go for headers in the cold like this because you know you're going to have a numb spot on your head for the next 3 or 4 days if it remains the weather to be as it was. And, yeah, especially in a game like this, we saw it earlier. A player took a ball, looked like to the thigh or to the shin, and just had to walk it off a little bit. Those ones sting and they tingle for a while after that.
Back underway as, both teams have had their opportunities, and sometimes it seemed like the momentum has leaned either side. This is about as close to a 50-50 game as you can get.
Yeah, I could not agree more with this one. As I'm saying that, Columbus is going to try and take it back up on the outside.
This second half brought to you in part by Husker Rehab, treating the cause of pain, not just the symptoms. And who knows, after tonight's game, with the amount of bodies being put on the line, a couple of these players may need to stop by Husker Rehab and get checked out and treat that cause of their pain, as they're definitely leaving it all out on the soccer pitch tonight. 24.5 minutes remaining. Lincoln Northeast had that ball inside the box after a throw-in, but that squeezed its way back out again. Another clearance by the Discoverers.
Yeah, we were talking about sloppy play earlier, and I think that Lincoln Northeast had the momentum, had locked in for a while after the restart, but it's just been sloppy pass after sloppy play for both sides in the last 10 or so minutes, just resulting in no team really having a coherent attack there. A couple of opportunities from solo players, but nothing team coordinated to result in a long-term pressure or long-term thought in the back of the other team's mind.
Very interesting here as another free kick coming for Lincoln Northeast. 39 yards out, going to be taken by Abdullah Al-Fahad. Pretty much straight center. See how well he can position this one, but another opportunity for the Rockets as they've had a few of them over the last couple of minutes. The boot saved by Gavin Anderson, as that one was a rocket to the top side of the net.
Yeah, the sophomore reading that one well from well outside the 20-yard line. Able to make the stop there, and a couple more headers will result in Northeast trying to fight for this across the middle. Usually you see this ball kind of surrendered as transition offenses go, but a through ball, and I think he's on sides, will result in, a great stop there.
Christian Peña-Solas coming out in that to keep that ball out of harm's way as Columbus was fast chasing that one. Kevin Aliciares back the other direction now, though, and both these teams definitely giving it all. You can sense that physicality, and one of the things that we'll see if it continues to build this way. But we saw in the first half, Columbus pretty much controlled for the most part the first half of the half before Lincoln Northeast had the advantage in the back end. And the second half has kind of started the same way. Columbus a slight edge early on, and now we've seen Lincoln Northeast have a little bit more advantage over the last few minutes outside of that attack from Luciares.
Yeah, you saw earlier Columbus with the 2 back-to-back penalty kicks. I was talking earlier about how they were wasted. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. We'll leave that one for discussion a little bit at a later date for someone who's a lot more intelligent than me. As Northeast kind of took over from there. It was a little mixy for a bit, but we're going to get right back into it as Northeast tries to keep up the momentum.
Kevin Lisiades wanted a foul, and referee with his hands up. We'll see if he got one on a physical play in which looked like Abdullah Al-Fahad was in there as well. Interesting enough, it does look like they are going to give Columbus a free kick. But the weird part about this is the ball spotted inside the box by like 1 foot.
I believe that one was a handball, actually.
Okay.
The ref's going to call it a handball because the ruling states, or the rules state, at least from my best memory, that the pass must not be direct. And I believe the referee believes that was a direct pass.
Yeah, either way, I don't think you can place the ball inside the box for an indirect free kick. That's just an awkward place to play, and here's another look at it. And the ball got skied over the fence even. It's out with the pine trees.
Wow. Yeah, and you can see it in the replay. The player passed it back to the keeper. The keeper was running forward to grab it. So, well, the referees clearly know better than we do, I suppose. But I agree with you on that one. Kind of a weird place for the ball. Columbus not going to take it lightly.
Adobo trying to slice through again before it's cleared away by Grant Mason. And the ball shaggers for Columbus having to go across the fence to retrieve some of those soccer balls here in the later half of the game.
Andrel Vasquez going to take this one out in towards the center, but the experienced Lincoln Northeast defense, 3 of the 5 players, I believe, listed on the roster as defensive players are going to be seniors. So take that in contrast to the side of Columbus, whereas you've only got 1 senior on the whole defensive side. 2, excuse me.
Velasquez has the ball poke tripped out of bounds, and that'll be another corner kick for Columbus and Andrel Velasquez. Second corner kick of the half, 5th of the game, and excuse me, they changed that up to a goal kick. So we're halfway into the second half, and now time's starting to run low. We'll see if we end up getting some extra time, perhaps, as this game continues to progress downfield. I know we were late getting on air because the JV game went all the way to the penalty kick shootout, and I have a feeling they took 20 million shots in that penalty kick shootout.
Yeah, I went through the full JV roster for both sides at least once, if not a second time. But Columbus got the better of that one, I do believe, for the JV series. Let's see if their older brother, per se, can follow the same fate, or if they will suffer victim to the bad karma of the penalty shootout.
And when we talked to Johnny Beltran before the game, it was just like, well, hopefully we can keep the momentum, as that definitely got us fired up beforehand. And now you got to kind of remember a little bit of that, because 18 and a half minutes left to go. It's definitely colder here, and you just got to keep pushing on.
Right, at this point in the game, you are gassed, you're tired, you're just ready to go home. But Columbus clearly doesn't share my interest in soccer, because they're going to keep the momentum going. And keeper comes all the way out to send it back to midfield, but look at Columbus. So far pushed up, they are ready for this ball to meet midfield. They're going to attack early. Penalty called will sort of put a pause on that for now, but Columbus doing an amazing job of keeping up the attacking pressure.
Clock stopped with 17:54 to play in the second half, as Lincoln Northeast had a player go down, and now a yellow card given out to Columbus as Abdullah Al-Fahad, who went down. He's back up to his feet now, but Discover booked for this interaction, and that's Kevin Aliciades.
Yeah, attacking from behind like that, you can't do that. You have to play the ball first. You have to make it at least look like you're playing the ball is the important part, at least through the referee's eyes. Is now it's going to be Northeast with a free kick and lots of room to work with, and oh, they will.
Header inside on the box, put right on squarely to Gavin Anderson, who scoops that ball away.
Anderson going to decide to roll this one to the outside, playing it a little slower, but it's not going to work out in their favor this time. Excuse me. I thought the ball went out. I can't see it from all the way over here. My colorblind is getting the better of me. The green on the yellow from the far side of the field, especially this late at night.
Columbus still retained possession now. It's taken away by Leo Wilson. And Lincoln Northeast going to have to try to get past this stingy Columbus back line. I've been causing problems all night, and there's another clearance. Lincoln Northeast is going to want a foul, and I don't believe they're going to get one this time by.
Yeah, the defense for Columbus playing very well. The only thing I would say that they need to improve on is just not allowing their man to go through. The amount of through balls or just by balls, cross shots that have just been allowed. Like, they're not getting the man pressure on fast enough. Whereas Lincoln Northeast, I would argue, most of their issues on the defensive side come from one or two players making a solo play and just beating the guys that they need to beat in that moment to cause momentum shift into their favor.
16:25 left to play in regulation. Zain Al-Abidin Al-Jabari was the man who went down. Now inside the box, a rocket in! And Lincoln Northeast goes on top. A moment in waiting in the 64th minute. And the Rockets on top. Take a look at the Meade Lumber instant replay. And a beautiful shot from Alexis Munoz Avila. The junior stepping up big in the 64th minute.
Yeah, we were just talking about it not but 30 seconds ago. Columbus allowing players through on the crosses, on the burn balls, and Lincoln Northeast will take advantage of it finally. Now Lincoln Northeast going to be playing pretty physical. Columbus going to do the same. Both teams, a very physical game so far, very back and forth. And although the scoreboard says Lincoln Northeast is up here, I think in the second half, at least, Columbus has maintained most of the offensive pressure until about 5-6 minutes ago. Now it's going back to Columbus. Or back to Lincoln Northeast.
And Lincoln Northeast has earned another free kick 30 yards out. There's another look at it. Attack on the ball, just stayed a little too late on that touch, and it'll give Lincoln Northeast another opportunity. 15.5 minutes left to go. Columbus getting closer to desperation realm here as they just saw a tie game, which they maybe had a close edge in, just slip away from just like that from a big shot by Alexis Munoz Avila. Here comes the free kick as the referee going to give the good to go as we're down to the final 15 minutes. The kick blocked by the wall, and now this one popped over, and Gavin Anderson comes out, makes a save, and immediately tries to move this ball offensively for Columbus.
Columbus going to try and stop the pressure, but Lincoln Northeast not letting them go anywhere. The ball has not left this side of the field in probably 3 to 5 minutes. Columbus trying to stop the ball from going out there, but it'll be ruled in their favor, at least for now.
Yeah, throwing coming for Columbus as the Rockets, as a free kick coming for Columbus as they try to move past midfield. But Lincoln Northeast, they're looking for their second straight win in the series. Back in 2023, it was a 2-0 win for Columbus, and it was a 2-1 win in 2024. And then Lincoln Northeast reversed course with a 2-1 win last year. Now look at that game, ended up in a shootout as well. And so now Lincoln Northeast trying to make it back-to-back years with a win inside the box again. Cross field, Anderson with the save. Alexis Munoz Avila. Another opportunity there from Lincoln Northeast.
Yeah, being able to rely on your goalkeeper, your sophomore goalkeeper like that. He has been absolutely incredible in the goal box so far. I know that the scoreboard doesn't quite agree with me on this one, but putting that much pressure on a sophomore and him rising to the occasion repeatedly throughout this series, or throughout this game,
Time continues to tick down here in Columbus. Plenty of time for both teams to strike another time. Ball moves up the field. Columbus asking for offsides. Don't get it. Another shot goes on in. 2-0 lead for Lincoln Northeast.
Lincoln Northeast will find that one again off of a through and burn ball. That will be all you need to look at if you are Columbus in the VOD or in the stats report. Just beats one defender, one-on-one, able to clutch from 20 or so yards out there, able to put it to the back of the net.
This one in the 68th minute makes it a brace for Alexis Munoz Avila. This one coming from 45 yards out, and now we got a free kick coming for Columbus as I believe that was Thomas Adobo who gets run over from behind.
That's not who you want to let have a bunch of open space down below. And all he had to do was beat one or two guys there, and he would have had a 1-versus-1 against the keeper. He, of course, scoring 2 of the goals last week, allowing Columbus to win their last game against Lincoln North Star.
Free kick going to be coming for Columbus. Be taken by Holman Pineda Mesa. Gets stopped by the wall. Pineda Mesa sticking with it. Kicked back out by Lincoln Northeast. Now under 12 minutes to play, Columbus down 2 goals. And Lincoln Northeast, they're starting to feel it. That first goal energized them. And now they have a really good feeling. And you can just feel it from their JV section.
Yeah, their fan group over here is getting pretty involved. And, I mean, what more can you do? You got to get up and get a little warm, especially this late at night. And they're doing exactly that. And maybe that's giving them the Lincoln Northeast the motivation they need to finish this game out.
Rockets keeping with the ball on their defensive edge. But it loses it out of bounds, and Columbus another chance to try and take advantage. Columbus had opportunities throughout this game, especially in that first half. There's a good number of them that just missed off to the side of the net that they couldn't capitalize on. And you get to this point, you wonder how many of those moments they kind of want back, and they'll check back on and they'll think back and be like, we're this close to having a couple on these guys.
Yeah, I think that was one right there, actually. The shot came on to the net, maybe not quite a shot, maybe more directed as a through ball or a pass, but goes on just wide right. Not even close. Nobody was prepared for it. Maybe that's the inexperience talking. Maybe that's just the lack of communication that seems to be going through on Columbus's side right now. But Lincoln Northeast absolutely dominating the last 10 minutes. But Columbus, they need to get back into form. Coming out of halftime, they were doing so well. They were doing so strong. But there's still 18 minutes left to play, or 10 minutes left to play, excuse me.
Clock stopped with 10:17 left to play as coming off to the sideline for Lincoln Northeast is Mohammed. Looks like he's getting some attention from the bench staff, and we'll get back underway. 10:10 left to play. Columbus trying to get it back within a goal. I just saw 2 straight goals scored by Lincoln Northeast's Alexis Munoz Avila, 4 minutes apart. And now here come the Rockets again. Munoz Avila, 30 yards out. Passes, shot, off the crossbar. Another opportunity there from Lincoln Northeast, but it's cleared on out. But how about Alexis Munoz Avila making that extra pass inside the box, and a spectacular opportunity to go off the top crossbar.
Yeah, he's been the #1 scorer all year. He's had 3 goals on the season coming into this game, and he was also had an assist last game. So lots of scoring from him, but able to dump it off to a teammate. You know, he's not completely unable to share the ball like a couple of basketball players that come to mind. A little bit more selfless than that. And that's what you like to see out of your experienced players, out of that culture especially.
9 minutes left to play, and Lincoln Northeast players on the field just energized for sure with all the momentum that swung their way over the last 10 minutes. And Columbus running out of time. Under 9 minutes left to play. And we'll have another free kick coming for the Discoverers.
I think the call there is going to be another high kick, will result in essentially a goal kick out of the penalty box there for Columbus to try and keep a little bit of momentum. But the players from Northeast slow to get back. Could result in anything, really. If you get lazy on defense this late in the game, all it takes is, 7 seconds to score a goal? That's not a whole lot of time, especially when you're slacking.
Lincoln Northeast has been building something up. One thing that both these teams have dealt with is missing a few players I believe there's been 3 to 5 players that both coaches said they didn't have at the start of the season. Both teams have started to get them back over this last week. And the more that they get back, the more they can gel, the more they can build. But Lincoln Northeast starting to build something special, starting to build some momentum as a program that hasn't had many seasons. And yes, I'm going to do this on purpose here in a sec. Hasn't had many 6 or 7 win seasons in history in the last 15 years. And then you see a couple of 6-win seasons the last couple of years. And now they're trying to make that next step, trying to get it up to 8 or 9 wins this season, trying to keep building as a team. And with what we've seen from them so far this season, taking Lincoln Southeast into the final few minutes, picking up a late 2-goal lead on Columbus here tonight, Lincoln Northeast is building something.
Yeah, against Lincoln Southeast, tied it up 2-2, fell short in the final minutes, but that's still an incredible team to at least tie. With under 10 minutes remaining to tie, way to not give up, way to persevere. That's that experience, that vigor showing through. So now we go into sub 10 minutes for our own game.
And Columbus is going to go down to 10 players. A red card has just been shown. And I missed that interaction, but coming off the field now will be Andrel Velasquez. And he is not happy over on the sideline. We'll see if we had a camera on to whatever just happened. But Columbus playing down a man for the remainder of this game. 7 minutes exactly remaining. There'll be a Lincoln Northeast goal kick when we pick back up play. But Andrel Velasquez, he is heated over on the Columbus sideline.
Yeah, that's not what you wanted to see if you're a fan of Columbus here. You wanted to really ground yourself, make a comeback, but Lincoln Northeast going to say no to that one.
Alexis Munoz Avila nearly made it a hat trick, but Gavin Anderson there to make the save. And Columbus trying to keep working forward, but now they're going to have to do it without a superstar in the midfield that's been there making plays all game long.
Yeah, without that talent and endurance, especially this late in the game, it's going to be really hard to get your offense started. And we've kind of felt the effects of that within the 10 seconds that he's been gone. The stop and the ball towards the outside just felt like there should have been someone been there to receive that ball, but he's on the sideline holding a red card.
Nearing in on the final 6 minutes, and if you're just tuning in now, well, it was an even game most of the way through. And then a guy by the name of Alexis Munoz Avila came to the party, put up a brace, and now here comes another rocket off to the side of the net. It'll be a goal kick for Columbus, who is going to move quickly. But Alexis Munoz Avila just been a superstar all night.
Yeah, Columbus without their stars of their own, though, one of which I believe is personally sitting on the sideline right now. That red card could be the detriment. The nail in the coffin here with 5 minutes left to play as they try and prove me wrong.
Columbus, ball just a little too far out in front of their forwards. And Lincoln Northeast able to take back control nearing in on the final 5 minutes. Northeast with the ball on the far side of the field. The first 63 minutes of this game were scoreless. And Lincoln Northeast found a way to work through the Columbus defense. And now we got another stoppage of time with 4:49 left. A sliding tackle made by Jorge Perez de Leon. And he's going to be shown a yellow card and will have to come off the pitch.
Yeah, I think that one was deserved. Ref definitely could have led a little bit harsher into that one, but clearly he just doesn't want to do that much paperwork, I guess. Now we go into under 5 minutes left to play. Columbus needing a miracle to get back into this one.
And we've definitely seen our referee tonight definitely be tough on the players. He's awarded a lot of fouls. He's given out quite a few cards as well. He's been keeping his right hand plenty warm tonight with the cards that he has shown. And now Columbus moved the free kick, and referees just got hands all open wide. Like, you guys know better than that. I wasn't even looking yet. Wait for my whistle next time. So they're going to bring that back. Clock's still at 4:49. And now we'll get officially back into the field of play. Short kick for Columbus as Discover's trying to work it back forward down to almost 4.5 remaining.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the sloppy plays and how they were getting punished. Even more so when you don't have an extra player on the field to clean up after yourself. But another push from Northeast goes ignored for the most part from the referees. Of another temporary stoppage in play. Just kidding. Ref will let this one go through.
And he does indeed call a foul, and looks like he's going to hand out a booking as well. And a yellow card's just been issued to August Holstein. And looking on the Beatrice Community Hospital instant replay, I don't think that one was a yellow card. I don't even know if Holstein touched him.
Yeah, that one I don't think was a yellow card. Maybe generously could have been a foul, but on a first watch from way far back as we are, it looked like it could have been pretty rough. But now number 8's going to call for his 10 yards as Columbus, you're allowed to take 10 yards away from the ball.
4:12 remaining, and with the clock stopped, the referee is going to make sure to mark this wall back for Lincoln Northeast before we can get back underway. Definitely have had quite a few stoppages tonight and a physical, aggressive game on both parts.
Yeah, this is called a ceremonial free kick. Refs try to avoid this as much as they can, just kind of let the players acknowledge that they need 10 yards themselves, but Lincoln Northeast obviously a little big for their boots right now, making Columbus work for it.
This one with a big hook and curve inside. And the free kick taken by Christian Correa Bedoya will go off to the side. Another goal kick coming up for Lincoln Northeast. And they're 4 minutes away from their second win of the season and getting back in the win column after a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, this win would be absolutely massive for them, at least to break the momentum of the loss and maybe take some of the salt out of the wound that was in there last week, rescind the lemon juice a little bit. That last game, they fumbled within the last couple of minutes against Lincoln Southeast.
And don't worry, and 3.5 minutes, we won't be done quite yet. Stay tuned for our post-game show brought to you by Custom Sports, as we'll go over your top plays and much, much more. Another shot saved by Gavin Anderson. Another rocket. That one over the goalpost. And Lincoln Northeast with a couple of opportunities. We'll see if any of those will make our top plays at the end of the night during the Custom Sports post-game show.
Yeah, I definitely think that the sophomore goalkeeper should be in that a couple times, doing everything that he needs to back there. If I was the goalkeeper here, I'd be yelling at my defense a little bit. Being 6'2" myself, I got stuck in the goal way too many times than I care to admit.
And now Lincoln Northeast is going to go to the traditional stalling tactic, putting that ball into the corner and just playing a tuck away.
Yeah, I kind of expected this even sooner than they started using it. I am not a lying man, if anything. So Columbus, obviously not a fan of that. We'll try and keep up the momentum here late into this one. Under 2.5 minutes left to play. Lincoln Northeast somehow going to get their hands back on the ball, but, well, feet in this case. A hand would be a penalty. So we're going to keep the ball at our feet, and up over the goal we go, back into the goal box for Columbus. Columbus going to take it down the far sideline. Really struggling with possession so far in this second half, outside of the first 10 or so minutes, and now they're going to do something with it.
Adobo on the near side with the ball for Columbus. Crosses it back inside, cleared back out by Lincoln Northeast. under 2 minutes left to play. And also part of our Custom Sports post-game show, we'll be talking with the winning head coach and our Nebraska Orthopedic Center player of the game. That's all coming up after the conclusion of the game. Thomas Adabo, a corner kick. Normally it's Andrel Velasquez who takes those, but he received a red card, and so it's on to Adobo. Now Kevin Anderson way outside the box to clear the ball out of harm's way as Columbus had everybody forward trying to make something happen as we approach the final 60 seconds.
A great heads-up play there by the keeper. The man in yellow way in the back, who's not a referee at least, making
He does match the referees tonight, though.
He does. Maybe a future career for him, I suppose, as we head into sub 1 minute left in this game. Columbus trying to do anything in their power to get 2 quick scores here, but being down a man and down a lot of momentum, it's going to be a difficult one.
Lincoln Northeast and Columbus, it was a strong battle throughout, an even battle as well, tied up at the halftime break, tied up 60 minutes in, but Lincoln Northeast did not go away. They kept on fighting. They broke through. Alexis Munoz Avila scored a couple of goals, and in 10 seconds, they will have their second win of the season. Lincoln Northeast putting together their second straight win over the Discoverers. How about them Rockets? A 2-0 win over Columbus on a Friday night.
Yeah, the shots, the pressure, the offensive integrity, it was all there. That experience really showing through the last 20 or so minutes of this game. Columbus came out of the half strong, but not strong enough to get one on the board. And I think one on the board there could have made the last little bit worth fighting for. But in the cold here, once it's 2-0, Lincoln Northeast getting 2 back-to-back, it's difficult to come back from.
What a game it was. We'll recap it all coming up next here on News Channel Nebraska.
Or residential plumbing, Lamel Plumbing is the place you call. Lamel provides 24-hour emergency service as well. Call them if you get in a tight spot. And as for their retail items, well, you got to check out some of their faucets, some of their kitchen items, and some of their bathroom items like their Onyx showers. And hey, say you got a digging job, you call Lamel Plumbing for that too. They've added a full-time crew for you, doing backhoe, trenching, and sewer work. Take that digging job off your list and have Lamel do it for you. That's Lamel Plumbing in Beatrice, now at their new location on North 7th Street in Beatrice.
Kearney, Nebraska is the getaway you never knew you needed. With comfortable, premium lodging, eclectic shopping, and a variety of locally owned craft food and drink options, Kearney has something for everyone. By day, you'll find rich history, outdoor adventure, and some of America's most unique attractions. And by night, our many entertainment options, dazzling performances, and unique hangouts offer the perfect way to unwind. Visit Kearney. It's so much more than just in the middle.
Beatrice Community Hospital is proud to serve Beatrice and the surrounding area for over 100 years. We provide quality care with small-town hospitality. Our services include family medicine, OBGYNs, robotic surgery, diagnostic imaging, and more. We're excited to grow our services, including a new medical clinic building in the community of Wymore. We're proud to be a top 20 rural hospital. And thank you for trusting us to care for you and your family. Beatrice Community Hospital. Incredible care, incredibly close.
Behind every switch you flip, innovation is at work. NPPD is using advanced technology to generate and deliver the reliable energy you have come to expect. Like AI-driven platforms to optimize energy generation, drones for infrastructure inspection, advanced metering for faster outage detection, and helping advance carbon capture and sequestration technologies. It's not just electricity we are delivering, it's innovation, powering the state, empowering your life. Nebraska Public Power District.
When you have the inventory people want and a team that understands what you need, there's one place to go. Big Red Motorsports in O'Neill. Name brand ATVs, side-by-sides, and high-performance machines built for work, made for play.
It's not just about the shoe. It's about your fit.
What sets Fleet Feet aside from everything else that we've experienced is my girls being runners. They have very different needs. And so their technology with the scanning and the personal touches is just unmatched. I met Lori almost 16 years ago, and when I saw Lori open this, I knew there was no other place that I wanted to go to have someone help me with my footwear and everything else involved with running. Fleet Feet doesn't just fit your shoes, they fit your life.
Fleet Feet Lincoln. Find your fit today.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Husker Rehab, treating the cause of pain, not just the symptoms. Schaefer's, we're more than just TVs and appliances. And by Claybaugh Pharmacy, your locally owned hometown pharmacy. From the heart of Nebraska to across the state, RMV Construction is building more than just structures. We're building trust. RMV Construction has grown from humble beginnings to become a trusted name across central Nebraska and beyond. With unmatched craftsmanship, cutting-edge innovation, and an unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction, we deliver projects on time, on budget, and above expectations. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction in Kearney and Lincoln. Let's build your vision together.
Columbus High School, where Lincoln Northeast victorious for the second time this season, the 2-0 win over Columbus. Now joined by Lincoln Northeast head coach Philip Yap. And how did you guys get going there? You guys scored 2 in 4 minutes.
Well, I know it was coming because they were playing pretty good in the first half. They were making some connection, passing pretty well, opening up the field. I know, at one point the defense is going to get tired. And that's what happened. We find those little opening, and we took advantage of it.
You guys are coming off of a game with Lincoln Southeast, a spirited fight there. What does it mean to bounce back and get the win today?
Well, it's always good to bounce back. The boys rally together. They work as a unit today, and the results showed on the scoreboard. And I'm very proud of them.
And your guys' team, you guys have been battling to build this program up. And you guys are slowly but surely coming along, and you guys had a couple of big goals tonight.
Yes, the program is steadily, moving forward, and that's just from the past. Students who have, maybe built a foundation for us. So at this point, it's just good to know that things are working out for the boys and the school.
And probably part of that, a big reason, Alexis Munoz Avila, our player of the game, 2 goals, 64th and 68th minute. What does he mean for you guys? Of course, he's one of your captains.
Yes, being a captain is very, motivated, and his drive to be successful is way up. It's very, very motivated, and he's a team player, and when you're a team player, good results will happen.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring in our player of the game, Alexis Munoz Avila, the junior. 2 goals, so that first one was a rocket.
Yeah.
How about that one?
I mean, I kind of just checked my shoulders there, and I just turned and I saw I had a lot of space, so I just had to take the shot. As a striker, you got to take your shots,
4 minutes later, though, you had one from even deeper out. You're just letting them fly here tonight.
Yeah, same thing. Always got to check your shoulders, man, I'm a striker. That's what I do,
You were very close to getting a hat trick, too.
Yeah.
What was working for you tonight?
All the quick combinations with my team, we play as a unit, as my coach said. So we just got to keep going like that. That's how we get the goals.
Now your second win of the season. How do you guys keep building from here?
Just keep working as a unit, Just motivate each other, start with the intensity from the beginning, and yeah.
What about this squad? I could see your JV squad all hyped up for you guys. You guys truly are having a great amount of fun out here.
Yeah. I'm really proud of this program. So JV's doing really good. Varsity's doing pretty well. So I'm proud of this team,
Well, Alexis, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on being our player of the game.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our player of the game, Alexis Munoz Avila. Right now, we'll step aside, and when we get back on the Custom Sports post-game show, we'll take a look at your top plays.
Fuel up for the big game at Speedy Mart. on 238th Street in Greenwood. Open 24 hours. We've got the winning lineup, hot coffee, ice cold drinks, and tasty snacks, plus daily specials smoked fresh in our smoker. Need a pit stop? Our bathrooms are the cleanest around. And our friendly staff always makes you feel like part of the home team. Don't get sidelined. Score big on convenience at Speedy Mart, Greenwood.
Hey, it's me, one of those students on the waiting list for a Teammates mentor. I've heard Teammates is so fun and awesome. You get to talk, laugh, play games, and hang out with a positive, caring adult once a week at school. Teammates helps students believe in themselves, and 97% of mentees are proud to be a part of it. I'd love to be one of those mentees, but we need more mentors. So if you got an hour a week to be someone a student like me can count on, go to teammates.org today. Join the team. Be a mentor.
So this yellow jacket, it basically symbolizes that it's showtime.
The Yellow Jackets are a throwback to Monday Night Football.
The 1970s, Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell.
That was the big broadcast in the country. Now we're the big broadcast in Nebraska.
When News Channel Nebraska is covering a game, we want you to know that we take it seriously. We want to dress sharp. We have pride in what we do.
And we're going to wear those yellow jackets to show people. Now we're a little old school, but we're also the important broadcast of the night.
When quality matters, it starts at Scotty's Ranchland Foods in Valentine. They're known for the highest quality beef, carefully aged to perfection, alongside fresh, vibrant produce, and a deli famous for fresh, never frozen fried chicken. It's quality you can see. Home of Scotty's Meat RX. Scotty's Ranchland Foods in Valentine, Nebraska. A better cut every time.
NCN Sports is brought to you by The Carpet Shop in Norfolk, providing quality residential and commercial floor covering and installation for almost 50 years. And by Scotty's Ranchland Foods, Highway 20 in Valentine, Nebraska.
I spend with purpose because I bank with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union. With my Liberty Plus checking account, I can earn extra cash just for spending on everyday things, like groceries, online or in-store purchases, and lunch. At Liberty First, anyone can join, so start earning money to spend on the things you love. Start banking with purpose. Start banking with Liberty First Credit Union.
The postgame show is brought to you by Custom Sports. Check them out at CustomSportsCO.com.
Wrapping things up here in Columbus as Lincoln Northeast victorious 2-0 over the Discoverers on this Friday night. It's getting pretty late, so let's wrap things up by taking a look at how we got to this point. And beautiful night for some soccer in Columbus. A pair of 1 and 2 teams going to battle between Lincoln Northeast and Columbus. Starting things off in the first half, across inside the box, headed away by Lincoln Northeast, avoiding a lot of danger that Columbus put pressure on early in the first half. Continuing on, a dangerous opportunity. There's our player of the game, Alexis Munoz Avila, but a save by Gavin Anderson. Later on, Thomas Adabo, the header just to the left side of the net. He had 4 or 5 chances throughout the game, just couldn't capitalize. Andrel Velasquez inside, ball scooped up, taken away by the senior goalkeeper Christian Pena Solis. Moving on in the first half, sun now set, and the other direction into the second half. Andrel Velasquez nearly had a goal, but jumping up, making that save was Pena Solis. At this point, still a scoreless game as we see a big tackle. Andrel Velasquez earned a free kick, and back the other direction, a Lincoln Northeast free kick saved by Gavin Anderson, the sophomore goalkeeper. Progressing through, there's the breakaway goal, a rocket of a shot from Alexis Munoz Avila. Goes for the back foot, can't quite stick the landing, but he sticks Lincoln Northeast up 1-0. Then 4 minutes later, once again, Alexis Munoz Avila puts Lincoln Northeast up 2-0, sets up for the celebration, and that's how Lincoln Northeast evens things up in the records book at 2-2 on the season. Well, thank you all for tuning in with us tonight on NCN. First off, let's take a look at our upcoming broadcast on News Channel Nebraska. Next week, we're at the Jet Awards on Thursday night, and followed by some Omaha Supernovas volleyball on Saturday. John Baylor Netsi Mancaf with some afternoon volleyball against Indy Ignite. And then continuing on with some baseball between Bennington and Hastings the following week. And that next Friday, Adams Central Norfolk baseball. And if you really love baseball, come back for another one that Saturday with Platte Valley and Beatrice. And if you want to know what our broadcast schedule is, you want to check out our top plays, our interviews with our players of the games, all that and so much more, check us out on social media at NCN Sports, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. Best way to keep up with everything we're doing here at News Channel Nebraska. And final thoughts here in Leland as we begin to round things down and get ready to pack things up and move on?
Not a whole lot from me. I'm ready to call it a night. The cold is definitely forced everyone out of here fast, and I'm one of them.
Well, Lincoln Northeast, two goals there and breakthrough, and just a beautiful masterpiece from Alexis Munoz Avila tonight.
Yeah, I could not agree more. From the keepers of both sides, very well-played games, but just ruthless attacking from Northeast there at the final minutes. The through balls landing right at his feet, giving them to him.
Well, for our entire team, including our directors, Connor Luby, Paul Hires, and Danny Alvarado, I want to thank you, the watcher, for tuning in with us tonight. Lincoln Northeast takes home the 2-0 victory over Columbus on this Friday night. Can't wait to be back with you guys more next time on News Channel Nebraska. Have a great night.
Audien believes hearing